Hello, everybody. This is Everyday Shenanigans, and thank you for joining me on this Wednesday, August 5th, 2020. I'm bringing you back-to-back videos pertaining to Dominic Mckinney and said information of a video he has gone viral. And this is my part 3 video. And I'd like to say this to Mr. Dominic Mckinney: since you have decided to wait so many months to give the public a reason why you think that Nolan Moore aided, orchestrated, conspired to kidnap and murder your child, Camille Mckinney, why don't you tell us who you were speaking of in your Facebook Live about the ransom? Let's call a spade, since now you want to confess. You want to go in the confessional and give the 411 on why you think Mr. Nolan Moore aided in the death of your child, kidnapping and death of your child. Then why don't you tell the public who you were referring to in that said post last year, Facebook Live, of who you were talking about called you asking for ransom money? Was it Derica Brown or was it April Thomas? You specified that you had just left headquarters. So basically you're alluding to the fact that, hey, this person could go ahead and get arrested. So one could say, what? It was Derica? I don't think it was Derica. Some people do believe it was her that you were speaking of. But how could she call if, let's say, she was in custody? How would she be able to get to have phone rights to call you? Everybody knows how the system is set up with phone cards and all that. You have to set all that up for an inmate to call outside. Yeah, y'all see where I'm going with that? So who are you talking about in the ransom? Were you talking about April Thomas? Mr. Dominic Mckinney, were you speaking that April Thomas is the one who called you about the ransom money, that she was basically telling you that she had the child or knew of where the child was, Camille Mckinney, and she was wanting money to return the child safely home? So who were you speaking of? I'm bringing you all this said information because, as I state, federal charges have been brought up against Derica Brown and Patrick Stallworth. Miss Derica was supposed to attend court this month for the kidnapping of her own children. And since now Mr. Dominic Mckinney wants to go to the confessional and give said information to his reasoning of why he fingered Mr. Nolan Moore for kidnapping and murder of his child, then I also think it is only right that now Mr. Mckinney tells the spoken word and the general public who he was speaking of last year that called him to ask for ransom money. Please enlighten us, since now you want to talk about Nolan Moore continuously, non-stop, still continuing to say this man aided the death of your child. Then why don't you tell us now, since your mouth is open and you want to tell the spoken word? Then why don't you enlighten us on who you were speaking of? Who is the female that called you asking for the ransom money? You see, this is why I keep telling you all, there's more to this BS. And I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know what is what. I don't know if this latest Facebook Live from Mr. Mckinney is just a ploy to get people to continuously hate Nolan Moore, hate April Thomas, hate Two Guns Vito. I don't know, but it's petty and I'm sick of it. And so it needs to stop. Because as I state, no other arrests have been made in this case in the connection to the kidnap and murder of Camille Mckinney. No one else in the state of Alabama, the city of Birmingham, and surrounding counties and cities has been arrested in the kidnap and murder of Camille Mckinney. So therefore, what is Mr. Mckinney still riding? Why is he still riding the ride that Nolan Moore is behind this death of his child? It's because he was just angry that he had feelings for April Thomas. He was angry that he found out she was messing around with Nolan, talking to him, which and so ever. And this was his way of getting back at him once the child went missing. Hey, I'll put the blame on Nolan because she's been messing around with this guy. Maybe he's behind taking my child. Is it true they actually had a conversation in an inbox about the baby? Is it true Nolan threatened to do harm to the child? What is the truth? And this is why I'm bringing this set information, because I want to end to all of this. Because as I state, I am praying that the trial for Jericka Brown and Patrick Starworth will get on the docket this year. I'm praying that the case goes on trial. This case goes to trial, before the end of 2020. And since Mr. Mckinney wants to add more gasoline to the fire, then you can now go ahead and tell us who you were speaking of in your Facebook Live last year. Who called you and asked for ransom money? Because you see, if it was Jericka Brown, then that means you two have been talking, because how would she have your number if she didn't know you, you didn't know her? And as I state, many people have argued this point. Some think it's April, some think it's Jericka. But as I told people, if it's Jericka, then that means Dominic Mckinney knew her. They had dealings with each other, because how would she have his telephone number to call him and ask for money? And if they were in cahoots to get the child missing, she wouldn't need to ask for ransom money if he set it up. I keep telling you all, everything is in the details. Everything is in the details. Why would Jericka call Dominic Mckinney about a ransom if he set it up and he knew her and Patrick and wanted to get back at April? Then she wouldn't have to call about a ransom. She would already know the details of what to do and not to do. You see where I'm going with that? So that leaves April Thomas. Is it April who called Dominic Mckinney about a ransom? Did she get her child gone? Mad at the baby daddy? Sick of the baby daddy? Hell, maybe even sick of the child. I don't know. Because here lately, a lot is coming to fruition about these two people, these two parents. And once again, it does not look good on either's behalf. You all need to stop this foolishness, because like I said in my first video, somebody's going to get hurt if you all don't stop this bickering and throwing shade and accusations on Facebook. Someone is going to end up face down because you all won't stop. But that's the question of the day. Dominic Mckinney, who called you last year asking for a ransom for Camille Mckinney? Was it Jericka Brown or April Thomas? Or is it just a lie? Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.